language pathologist. So without further ado, I introduce Ms. Hetty Johnson, and I'm going to get comfortable now.
Thanks. I'm so excited that y'all are here. This is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I have been a speech pathologist for 40 years, and for the past 10 years, I've pretty much specialized in dyslexia, and I have Wharton Gillingham training, if you're familiar with that. And so what we're going to be doing, we will have a little bit of reading, well, a lot of trying to do reading built in. And I want us to think about what makes it all work. What makes it all work is just overarching for all teaching. Multisensory teaching is going to be what really makes everything work better. And what this is all about is I want us to touch the back of our head, the occipital lobe. What if you touch the back of your brain and say, seeing? This is the word that's seeing. So I want us all to do it because this is using our body. Tell me, seeing. And here we are with the visual seeing. So if we're teaching and we're having the child or adult, I mean, this works with everybody. If they're seeing something and they're hearing it, can you touch above your ears, like the temporal lobe, and tell me hearing and talking? Hearing. Good. And then touch the parietal lobe on top and say touching and moving. Touching and moving. Good. So let's go back to all we're going to use. Seeing, talking and hearing, touching and moving. So if you do all that together, it makes all just try it on the brain. No matter what you're teaching, if you have the child seeing, hearing, talking, touching, and moving at the same time, it like opens the doors in your brain and helps you to learn. Everything's going to work better. And really what this is, that might sound kind of scientific, which it is, it's neurology, but it's really playing is what makes this work. Everything I'm going to tell you about is like free. It's like free because you already have your body, right? Show me your body. Yes. Do you always have your body with you?
Yes.
Yes. And so that's free, right? And so this is what we're going to be doing is things are going to work because we're moving our whole body, and that's just, it's going to be using play to do it. Okay, chaining, like you have the article that was published in 1988. Like in 1973, I had graduated from Auburn in 1970 and master's at Montevallo in 72, and then taught at Montevallo for a while, and then moved to Gadsden and started my first private practice. And I was seeing kids, they were unintelligible children were coming to me, and I wanted dramatic, and I'm not writing away for you. Okay, I wanted to get dramatic results, you know, especially because here I was like, you know, 23, 24 years old, and like thinking, oh my gosh, these people are paying me real money, and I better get results. And what I was doing wasn't working very well. It was what I had been taught, and I mean, I graduated magna cum laude, or whatever it is. My husband said he graduated, thank the Lord. And so, you know, I had studied hard, but what I was doing wasn't really getting the results. And so I thought, what do I need to do? And so I just try to put myself in the child's shoes and say, what am I hearing? What is wrong here? You know, why does it sound this way? And so often, the children, I don't really mean it's just children, for one thing. This is going to work for everybody in many ways. I mean, I've worked with stroke patients, laryngectomies, using these concepts, and they work. I worked with a man who was a lawyer running for high political office in Alabama, and it worked for him for just a lisp. You know, so it doesn't have to be a severe problem. But I just never forget that man saying, my gosh, these are the ones that are easier to say. And it was the chaining ones when I'm using this approach. So, and it worked with ESL. It's just going to be, hopefully it'll be something good. But I'm going to be talking mostly about some unintelligible children here and showing a lot of videos. And they're going to often, do you ever have anyone that sounds like they're just a string of vowels? You have that feeling, and it feels like they're not making contact, like that even those are weak, like, you know, everything is like, they're barely moving their mouth. You have the sense that they're not moving their mouth a lot. That's what I'm thinking especially about. Their speech may sound mushy. It may sound choppy because there's no endings on words. Because what chaining is going to be about is how we hook words together. Like when we say like watch out, the ch is hooking the wa to the out. And we really say watch out.
Watch out.
Yeah, and so that CH, TCH is in it. That's the chain. And the children who are not chaining are the kids that are saying wow out. Okay? And so, and I think of it as like a house with no walls. I just have this picture of having a house, and you have the front door, and you walk in, and there are no interior walls, and everything is just sort of pouring out. It's like there's no syllables, no syllables. And like water is pouring out of a bottle, there's nothing stopping it. And that's what the consonant should be doing. So this is just a definition of what I made up for chaining. I mean, that it's the process of linking words together. Like if you have picket, it should sound like picket or picket. That K is hooking words together. But if you're not chaining, it might sound like pig or pig. Okay, and we use toys and play to get the child to talking, so it's really, really fun. Now you're going to hear a little boy that he was 5 years old, and he had a couple of years of speech therapy already, and you're going to hear him next. And I'm giving him a little test. I'm using index cards, and I just say like, somebody was knocking on, I'll knock on the door. I want to knock it. What do I do? And I want him to say knock it, and he'll say nice, because he's not chaining. And then I told him, I was driving along in my car and I wanted to pass it, and it becomes, I would die on I've had it. And that's what you're going to hear.
And I told my friend, I said, catch it. What did I tell him? And then I was driving along in my car and I wanted to pass it.
You've heard that before.
I heard it, so I need to walk.
Yeah, have you heard that kind of talking? Okay. Okay, some of the theoretical underpinnings of chaining that it uses CVs, meaning consonant vowels, because it's already easy for the child to say wa. He just can't say wash or wash it. He can say wa, it. You know, he can put the beginning vowel, the vowel, you just don't put anything after it. So I'm going to use consonant vowel combinations to push. I want you to push for me. To push final consonants into their speech. And to push, to close an open syllable is going to be, I know most of you, and I know y'all know a lot, I know y'all know so much of this already, and I so much don't want to act like I know something you don't know. I mean, because I know you know so much already, but I don't know where else to start. So I'm just going to share it, and you can fit in what's new and what's not new. And I hope that it will be helpful. But I think it's like an open syllable, a consonant, and then a vowel, like ha, for hop. And so what we're wanting to do is to close that open syllable with another consonant to make it say hop. But it's very hard to make the child say hop or back. It's hard to get that. If it's not easy for them, it's really hard. But if I'm going to like back up, they would say like back up, and so it would be hard for me to put the K over here. And I'm not spelling right, but okay, it'd be hard for them to put it there. So they can already do consonant vowel before they ever came to you. So I'm going to teach them to say back, ka. That's one of the big deals here. Okay, and if I'm teaching them like hop up, which I'm going to teach it first is ha, pa. And I know that seems weird, and like my mothers will always say, but are they going to talk right? You know, but it works. I mean, I tell you, it works, and you're going to see. And because once the rhythm gets going, ha, pa, then we're going to chain it together and hop up, and it's going to happen. And the ending of the up is going to happen without you even working on it. Later, as you go along. Okay, at first, I know, does it make any sense, Tracy? Okay, when somebody's really having a hard time, I might just teach them up, 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 up. Let's do up, 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 up. Yeah, so we're hooking together with that P, up, 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 up. And I think of that P, this is a symbol to myself a lot. I would just have like P chain, a P hooking together, up, 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 up. But it'll happen like a million times if the child cannot do that. They'll say up, or they might get the P kind of on the ending and go up, 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 and I'll say up, up. And so we're having to use changing our intonation patterns and changing our timing. Okay, so don't worry about the consonant at the end of the second word, that they'll come naturally. Okay, so I'll teach like wake up as wake. Let's do it. Wake up. Good. And I might say it's like a cup or make it. Let's do it. Make it. Pick up. It's like a cup. Oh my gosh, it's like a cup. That's what I would tell them. Oh well. Pick cup. Okay, because it's gonna work. It may seem odd, but it's gonna work. Or like push in. And I've had a lot of them. A really convenient one is like we're push it. And I have kids that say, because until they're screaming that part, especially. I mean, they're screaming that part. And so it's pretty funny. Exactly. And Edward Goose said that in some of his work, manipulation of syllable shapes, okay, seems to help by allowing. Okay. In co-articulation is just the fact of overlapping ballistic movements, and you know that. But some of us are not speech pathologists, so don't want to say that. But there are different ways that these consonants can be hooked into speech, embedded, like wash up, where it's hooking into the next word, or changing it to a consonant, like a budding consonant. So I think of it as like just a budding consonant, like push me. We're going to another consonant, push me, and candy, where it's within a word, and jump in. And very interestingly, you know, you wouldn't very much expect to get that MP cluster jump in very easily. I mean, that wouldn't be one of the first things you'd expect to get, but it's amazing how quickly things like that they're just no trouble at all in a chain. Jump in, or pushed it. Getting the SH with the cluster, or stand up. It's pretty amazing how easily that comes. I mean, it's just no big deal. It comes easily to get those clusters. And like L blends, I mean, they just come easily. And before you'd ever think you'd get them, and they just happen. So this linguistic approach that I use also, just making it obvious that this sounds like a word. Table, oh, like a bull. Or like monkey, like a key. Wash out. And pass it. Jump up. Just using pictures, or it's not really, I usually don't have a picture there. I'll mostly just say it. But if I have it, okay. And, you know, but I'm like, push it, I don't use a picture. Okay, we're manipulating the intonation patterns, what I just call the ups and downs of speech. I need water. Helps the child to notice. I think it like perks up. It wakes up their auditory system. It wakes up their brain. You say, oh, something's coming when I'm doing like push up. Something's coming, and their brain can hear that. And so it manipulates these suprasegmentals, which is changes in intonation, duration, pitch, and loudness. Yes.
At what age could you start this, and how does it affect them later? Like, because they will all tell you that I'm them too. They've learned me over here in Bittville. I have a 4-year-old that I'm still trying to get somebody to test, and they keep telling me to leave her alone.
I would so much be doing it at 2 years old, 18 months old.
And then how does it affect them later? Does it affect them at all? I mean,
it just helps them.
Okay, so it won't affect them negatively later.
Oh, no. Okay. It is so, I don't know, because I have had mothers say, well, this sounds weird, but I've done this for almost 40 years. I mean, I started in like 1973, 74 doing this, and I mean, it's awesome. I just can't tell you how much it's awesome. And I've never seen a negative effect. I mean, they just get it, and they love it. And it turns into natural speech. The cool thing about it, if you think about children who've had a lot of speech therapy, and they sometimes are very inflexible. They have trouble saying like isn't. They would say is not, or instead of he's going, or they would say he is. It's very hard. Are you familiar with that idea that they can be inflexible? It's like they've learned it precisely, and they just don't seem, or they say letter for letter. They have a hard time ever letting go of letter because they heard it as a T, or like hat, and they overdo it, or like bed, and that we shouldn't be overdoing it, and they overdo it, and it's Cheerleader, yeah. The next two letters went back when I published this in 1988. I got this letter from Young and Cerebral Palsy in Denver, and she says, the information you provided was extremely helpful. Bobby, my client, has responded beautifully to the approach. The chaining is beginning to come naturally for him, and he loves the therapy. Also, just as you mentioned in your article, his parents are reporting that he is using chaining at home and is more intelligible. It is so exciting for me to see these changes. I had been using the phonological approach coupled with touch cue with Bobby for several months before I learned of chaining. The progress using these approaches was quite slow. Chaining, this is a sentence I want to put everywhere, chaining is the magic key that has finally unlocked the door to success for Bobby and me. And that's like, I just love that. I've gotten emails from people saying, thank you for restoring the joy to our lives. I mean, I want to frame that. Then this one, the Scottish Rite, a person did a study with it, and it's really awesome, the improvement that, anyway, it's really awesome. You can look at it later, but it was really dramatic. It's dramatic. We had how long did it work in therapy? Let's see. They went just 4 weeks of therapy. His errors on his articulation test went from 48 errors to 30 errors, and 5 of them could be stimulated to correct production. That's like a lot. 18 corrected in 4 weeks, and 5 more that you could correct in 4 weeks. It's amazing. And then the spoken language quotient on a toad went from 88 to 106 in 4 weeks. And his developmental sentence score went from an age equivalency of 3 years to 4.5 years in 4 weeks. It's really, I'm so glad you asked it. Because I like to be able to share that stuff. Okay. And it's teaching transitions between consonants. I do not teach, it's so different from what I was taught in school. And it's so different. I don't teach sounds. I just teach the transitions between words. And when you're talking, life happens. And you say a lot of things. And you talk about those things. And it's real stuff that you're talking about. And you're teaching the transitions between the syllables and the movement. And you're not directly teaching a sound. And you're using natural context. Like one child you're going to see a lot of, he has severe ADHD, and like his mother emailed me very soon after we started working and said, this works through his ADHD. She said it takes advantage of his ADHD, because we're just, like, I mean, I'm hyper, we're both hyper together, and it just works, and it's fun, and it results in natural sounding speech instead of kasamasa.
Excuse me. So you're using this.
It wakes up the brain.
Excuse me. You're using this even for people who are learning to speak English later. I know my husband has a niece who is 16 now, and she had
I have a hearing loss. So a little bit louder. He's really joking today.
My husband's niece is 16, and she had a good bit of speech therapy when she was younger. She sort of has that apraxic sound, but she is still very much. Her speech is so unnatural sounding, kind of very bright, very bright, gifted child. Yeah. But I know in the summertime she would come and stay with me a week or two because her mother has to go out of town a lot to work. And we would work on trying to naturalize her speech a little bit, and I would have her say everyday phrases and just run them together, which I guess is sort of...
That's what this is.
Yeah. Just trying to increase the... just make it more normal sounding. But she is still, oh, thank you so much. You're still getting this.
Yeah, I would be wanting to abut those like, thank you, cue, like a cue ball, you know, like a cue, like a letter Q. I'd be teaching her thank you, and then get it together, thank you. It'll work.
Well, she's at the school in Mobile for math and science, very bright girl. So I don't really get to see her as often now. Yeah. And it's, you know, when they get older, you hate to approach it, you know, at family gatherings and things. But it bothers me so much because she sounds, her speech does not match the brain in that head by any stretch.
Like, it makes me think of a girl who was profoundly deaf, or well, at least severe to profoundly deaf, and we started working when she was like a junior or senior in high school a long time ago, and her speech, you know, needed a lot of work. And anyway, we worked on this and it was so awesome. And she wrote me a letter. She ended up on a golf scholarship at the University of Georgia. And I just remember her writing me a letter and saying, thank you for what you changed my life. And she said, I'm dating a hearing boy and nobody even knows I'm deaf. And I mean, her speech was deaf down deep. And I mean, it's awesome. And so, yeah, this will work with a lot of different issues. So, and it enhances motor planning because you're slowing down. So somebody is apraxic, like it's going to help them. Okay, it's all based on the desired outcome. Like, how are you going to get there? And this is how you're going to get there, is using the child's interests and natural environment to teach useful and clear. And so they won't come out sounding stilted and robotic. Use parents as partners. Like I almost always have one or two parents, if not both at the same time, usually just one parent or a teacher with me. And I know that's hard to do in the schools, but if you can somehow do it, it's one of the keys to success. This mother of a child you're going to see a lot of, the first day he came, she said, oh my gosh, he was 8, he had just, when he was 7 years, 8, 9 months at the time, and he had already had almost 5 years of therapy. He was evaluated at 2 years old and started speech therapy. He had seen 6 different speech pathologists. And so, and like his mother, the first day I started doing this training with him, just playing around, and her eyes got huge, and she said, oh my gosh. She said, this is the opposite. She said, I've never seen anything like this. This is the opposite. I mean, like, weird opposite, you know? And she said, but I can see it's working. And so it's amazing. And then she would say that this is the first time he's ever enjoyed doing it and enjoyed therapy. And it was
You got that? What did you do? Pitch it. Now which one want to tell her? Pitch it. Let's do one you can shine. Pitch it. Pitch it. You got it. What she did? Tell her. Pitch it. Good. Uh-oh. What did you do? Miss it. Yeah. Tell me. Pitch it. Good. What if we play like that ball is all dirty? What would you have to do to it?
Wash it. This is like the 3rd day. That was on Sunday. This is on Wednesday. The same week.
And this one. What's this one going to do? Good. Uh-oh, he's letting him read. Now watch out. Yes, he is. No, he's going to watch out. Dad, watch out. Watch out. Come up. I know, but you need to say that when she gets put them in. Tell me, I'll dump them. But you gotta say them to get them put in. Put it in. Which one do you do? Put it in. What do I do? Now what you gonna do? Nothing. Uh-oh.
We were using history, geography. With him, we were doing the Mayflower, and we took the big map. Everything about this multisensory, what do you do again? To me, seeing, talking and saying, and moving and touching. Everything is using that. And so we would put this big map of the world, and we would make Play-Doh just globs for the Mayflower and for the Pilgrims and whatever. And then we'd take them across the ocean. We'd talk about sail, lit, pack it, just using training. And so it can apply to science, evaporation. I mean, it can apply to anything. And that's what's the beauty of it, is you don't have to be just saying elephant. You can be saying real things that actually teach something, which is pretty cool. And they're learning to say it better at the same time. Okay, this is getting into a new child. This is going to be, this little boy I told you about it. He had previously had almost 5 years of speech language therapy with 6 different SLPs, and he had 2 years of OT. His speech was virtually unintelligible, first percentile going for his Stowe. His sentences sounded like just strings of vowels, like it just sounded, it just wasn't moving his mouth, and you'll hear it. He could not count one to one. He was repeating first grade. And we started November 3rd, okay? So he was unable to skip, although he had had OT for 2 years and unable to tie his shoes. and he resisted everything, and he was severely ADHD, severely dyslexic. Reading and spelling were way below first grade level, and there was just nothing happening. He was really struggling, and he had been in therapy since he was almost just turning 3. He had been evaluated at 2. So these parents had been through a lot, you know, and they lived, and they were driving into Birmingham. They were driving in for 5 years, and so it's something. And so this is what. And I had kind of not done chaining very much, and since I've started doing dyslexia, since 2000, I have not searching out unintelligible kids. And because we moved from Mobile to Birmingham in 2000, so I kind of changed my course a little bit into dyslexia. So I quit doing much speech. And so the first day when I saw this child, and I told the parents, I said, "Oh wow, you know, this is a blast from the past here. That I said I'm a little rusty on chaining, but this is what this child needs." And I could just see it, and so we started playing with it. And she's the one that her eyes got so big, and she said, "Oh my gosh, this is totally opposite," and it's working.
So what did he get? Yeah, that's kind of. No, with a gun. But you do a bow and arrow, huh? Which is better, do you think? Which one do you think is better? The bow and arrow? Are you good at both of them? Yeah.
Eighteen
targets. 18 targets? What kind of targets?
Okay, and these are, you know, that's what broke my heart, to think of how much they've been through, and that's why I decided, oh my gosh, I want chaining. I published it in 1988, and I got these wonderful letters, and then I presented it at ASHA in 1985 in Washington D.C. But then I presented it at SHA back around 88 or so, but then I thought, okay, I just kept doing it, but I didn't keep disseminating it, and this made me so much realize that I'm 61 years old, you know, and I'm not going to live like forever. I didn't want to just, Esther O'Brien, I don't know if anybody knows Esther, but way back, we were students at Montevallo together, and Esther used to tell me, you've got to write a book about this, because she said, it's not fair for you to just take this with you and never share it. And I am so sad that I didn't write it yet, but now I am working on it now, because, you know, it really is worth it. And I hope you'll agree with me, but it really is worth it, and it's fun. But yeah, like when I presented it at ASHA in '85 in DC, then, okay, the year 2000, I was back in DC for ASHA again, and I was just in the hall, and this lady was next to me, and she just looked, I guess she saw my name tag, and she said, "Oh, you presented about chaining," and it had been 15 years that she had heard me at ASHA, and she said, "It works. What else have you published?" And so, anyway, I stopped.
Me.
Yeah, I'm doing hop up. But I want to hook them together. Hop up.
Hop up.
Did they hook together?
Hop up.
Yes, that was it. You got a good.
Well, you got to shake his head.
Pick. Not quite. Not yet.
Pick up.
Pick up.
Pick up.
Yes, it was a cup that you drink out of. Tell me again. Pick.
Put the cup. Cup.
Do you know the cup? Pick up.
Pick up.
Okay, good. Yay.
Okay, that's the cool thing. They were starting, I used to have offices. I mean, I've had offices over the years, and I always thought it was, oh, what, we got a problem?
No, I just said he has a hammer, and I said,
Over the years, I've had offices, and I've had offices a lot of times, and I always thought it was so unprofessional to do it at your house, but I'm doing it at my house. And it works just beautifully because we can do everything. This day, here's this, like one of the very third session, and they had just torn the deck off my house, and so they were out there hammering. hammering like crazy. And so I thought, if we can't beat them, join them. So I got the builder to give me a hammer and some wood, and we hammered for 2 hours. I mean, I have to see them for 2 hours at a time. They drive like about an hour and a half to get there. And so I thought, okay, we're just gonna hammer the whole time. And at one point he quit hammering, and he heard them hammering, and he said, "Them towing up your house."
I want a movie. Look into me. Movie.
Movie.
Yay, do
I'm
it.
building a house, bear house.
Yeah.
Can I make a fake house with wood and hills?
What now?
Can I make a plant?
Can you make it?
Can I make a plant?
Can I make a plan?
Can I make one?
Yes, you can.
But how do I do it?
I don't know. What if we use my Lincoln logs? Have you ever built with Lincoln logs?
I have to. I want to make a real plant.
A real plant?
To make for me.
Does your daddy work at the plant?
No.
No.
I'm flower.
Roll.
Roll it.
Yeah, how about, good, how about, oh, la la la. How about, ah la la. All in, all out. Yeah, all up, all over. Can you tell me all over? Wow, here it comes, right here it comes. Come here. Well, he didn't go very far. Come here. Whoa, can we push it? It doesn't work well on a carpet, does it? But you seem to make it go well.
I'm trying to get him to be, think about the flexibility deal. I'm saying, come here. I want him to say, come here. But he cannot let go of that H. He has to say, come here. That's this thing, I call it flexibility. I think it's when you're not good at something, you know, like if you're riding a bike and you're not good at it, you've got to really ride carefully. But if you're good at it, you can do ramps and go up and down the curve. And I think that's what it's like with this speech. And so to say come here is like, too hard. But one day, recently, the mother called and left a message. She was so excited. She said, he used isn't. And that was awesome because he could not do that. He would do it, nah, you know, and he could not get the idea of isn't. The flexibility required to do a contraction.
Yeah, ready? Yeah, because we're going to say D, just like D for dog. Ready? Okay, turn off.
Turn off.
Yeah, and tell him ready.
Ready? On a boat.
Do we have another boat? Another? What if you do, I wonder what you're going to do with these little bitty ones.
How am I done?
Well, we need these little ones to go up, 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 jump up, up, up. Like that. Can we have them make a column?
I see what.
Up, up, up.
We're just getting them. Does this make any sense? And does this seem of interest?
Yes.
Or I'll just go slash my
Shoot it.
I'm going to try that. Shoot it. Oh, shoot it. Do it again. Shoot it.
Shoot it.
Yes. Woo. Oh, I tried it really hard. Shoot it. Wow. It could be shoot it.
Shoot it.
There you go. And what about you doing Mickey?
Mickey.
You know, when I went to Disney World, I saw Mickey. And I saw Pluto. You give me Pluto. Yeah. Can you tell me Goofy? And I saw,
Mickey Mouse.
yeah, Mickey.
Minnie.
Minnie? Yeah, I saw Minnie. Tell me Minnie. Whoa.
And Big Peter Lion.
I saw the Lion King.
Lion King. And Handy Mandy.
Who's that?
Handy Mandy.
Handy Mandy. I don't know Handy Mandy. What they doing? Handy Mandy.
Woody. Special Nose. Extra Oso.
Special Agent Oso?
Oh, yeah.
I went to a Toy Story thing. You're doing Toy Story. You're doing Toy. Yeah, story. Yes. And I did a roller coaster. coaster.
Roller coaster.
Yeah.
Okay, and I want you to know, like toy, he had no diphthongs, like oi, where you have, again, it's all about movement. These kids, or these people, movement is what's hard. So like oi, where you have, I want you to say oi, but don't move your mouth. Can you say it without moving your mouth? Right, and so that's what he couldn't do. And so he has learned already, and this is very early in therapy, to do diphthongs. And the way we learned it, one day his mother came and said that they had done an evaluation at school and they decided to send him to a pediatric neurologist because he couldn't skip. And I thought, I'll teach him to skip. And so that day I thought, okay, how do you skip? Okay, so I thought, okay, we'll just do half of it. And we were doing like oi, oi, and I, to try to get diphthongs. So we skipped around the house doing one half of a skip, doing like I, oi, 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 and just doing a half of a skip. And by the next week, he was skipping all over the place, and he taught himself. And so he didn't have to go to the pediatric neurologist. Didn't have to go to the neurologist for that.
Go. How about ride my bike? Ride my bike. Yeah, my bike. Well, that's an ooh, would make a snail. You jump round and round. Good, and round and round. Yay! What about me? So, grass and jump. Cut it. Uh-oh, I broke it. Broke it. Cut it. I must have pushed too hard. But that's a good one.
I want you to notice that the thing is, if he resisted everything. If you try to get him to sit down and do something, he would resist you to death. And he still would, I mean, I could make him shut down in a nanosecond if I try to get him to sit and do something very serious. That's why you don't have to be doing everything crazy like I am. But for him, that's the only way I was going to get results. And so I could either force him to sit and not get results, or I could just go with the flow and get results. So that's what we're doing. But like, there was something, oh yeah, that round, down, round, how he's getting that ND. And if you notice it, as long as he's busy doing something that he likes, he'll say everything I say, virtually. You know, he's really very cooperative. Do you think? I mean, as long as we're doing what he wants to do. He's doing everything I say to do, and he's getting it. And so, it's just pretty cool. So we're just Googling, like, we have gotten into what we do, tons of, I mean, we do experiments, we blow up things in the driveway, we make volcanoes, we did Mentos, a 2-liter Coke, and you put Mentos in it, and it makes a volcano, and we cooked everything in the world. We've made smoothies, pizzas, cakes, cookies, everything, chocolate cookie cake, we've made squash casserole, banana pudding, everything from scratch, because we taught about flour, sugar, 1 tablespoon. He couldn't count 1 to 1, and now he can count 1. Like we made a car derby car thing, you know, so we're sand it, hammer it, nail it, hit it, you know, everything. Put wheels on, roll it, and so when we were going to shake this, it's just a way of getting him to talk. You know, it's anything that you could do to get him to talk. So to get him to count, I told him I had to shake the paint bottle. I mean the spray. I said I had to shake it 60 times, so he had to count to 60. And so he would have never done that, but he did it. He counted, and he'll count how many eggs. He'll count how many more eggs he's added. So now he is adding and subtracting, counting by 2s, counting 1 to 1, and he couldn't do any of that. I mean, he has to have. I have to cue him some, you know, he can count to 100, but when he gets to every new decade, I kind of have to plan, and then he'll get it, and then to the new, I mean, it's not like he's perfect yet, but I mean, it's pretty incredible, I think.
And now, how long was that ago that you began?
We started November 3rd.
Of 2009?
Yes. So we've missed almost all of December. We didn't work much of December. We've worked 46 times now, but at that point, we had only worked 2 or 3 weeks.
And how old is he now?
He just turned 8 in March. He was 7 years, 9 months when we started, and he had had almost 5 years of therapy with 6 different speech pathologists and 2 years of OT. And he was repeating 1st grade.
And he's in public school?
Yeah, yeah. So here we'll get into Googling, and we're talking about physical changes and chemical changes, because we were making all kinds, we worked on surface tension,